There are some men, and I count myself amongst them, who cannot bear to be idle. I could, of course, reveal to the nation that the Prime Minister and his brother are both implicated in an outrageous piece of insider dealing. But I think we'll let that one mature a little first, don't you? On the other hand, we need to keep Charles and Henry Collingridge in the public eye, if possible. And the press are grateful for anything in the silly season. Now, the Prime Minister usually takes the precaution of packing his embarrassment of a brother somewhere well out of sight until the end of September. Some rural French slum in the Poitou-Charentes this year, I gather, where Charlie could get peacefully blotto while the Prime Minister saves his money and holidays at home, posing as a country gentleman at Chequers. So it was most unfortunate when someone tipped off the tabloids about Charles Collingridge's holiday address.
Bastards. What the hell has poor old Charlie done to deserve that? Just had the bad luck to be my brother, that's all.
Most families have someone like Charlie, someone who can't make it on their own.
Yes, right. You're right. If I stick by Charlie, people will respect me all the more for it.
I'd like to think you did it for him, not just for the opinion polls, Hal.
Well, of course. Duty and self-interest happily coinciding. For once.
After the silly season comes the conference season.
Good morning, Mr. Urquhart.
Good morning. Opposition did rather well this year. Abandoned their usual tactic of squabbling in public and shooting themselves in the foot. Had a go at us instead. Especially the Prime Minister, I'm sorry to say. Most unsporting. Good morning, Teddy. So it's very important that our party chairman gets his fine-tuning right before we all sally off to Brighton.
The essential thing, of course, is to present a totally united and confident front, while avoiding any impression of complacency. The natural party of government, but at the same time, a listening government. Roger.
Thank you, sir. The big banner, and that's the spirit and the theme of this year's conference, prompted by the PM's last speech, is Finding the Right Way.
Patrick?
I don't mind the right way. Finding is a bit bloody silly, though, isn't it? We should have found the way by now, shouldn't we? I mean, what are we? The natural party of government or the babes in the bloody wood?
Yeah, well, taking your point, Patrick, I should say that market research shows us to be a little too smug and sure of ourselves.
Well, so we bloody well should be. People aren't going to vote for don't knows, are they?
Perhaps going the right way.
Rather implies that the party, or someone in the party, is on the way out. Don't you think, Teddy? With the greatest respect, going, gone.
Thank you, Francis. A good point.
He's arrived.
Who?
Our leader, Elizabeth. Who else?
The broken reed.
The man of straw. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse. A party conference can be many things. A show of confidence. An agonizing reappraisal. Or, as in this case, a series of auditions by pretenders to the throne while the lost leader withers before our very eyes. Michael Samuel's environment. Intelligent, sensitive, caring, all in the same sentence. I bet you.
That doesn't mean a return to subsistence farming. What it does mean is sensitive exploitation of natural resources, intelligent self-interest to motivate long-term gains in a caring capitalist concept.
Told you. Peter Mackenzie, Health.
Pressure on the state system.
enabling our professionals to do a better job for those unable to fend for themselves financially, so that now we can say with real confidence, "Carry on, nurse."
God, what an idiot that man is. Harold Earl, education.
Made the schools accountable at last. We've grasped the nettle and we've taken it on board. It's not always been the most comfortable way. But one thing I do know, and time will prove it, it's the right way. It's the right way.
And Patrick Woolton, Foreign Secretary.
No one's more admiring and enthusiastic than I am about the amazing strides taken by our friends in Eastern Europe. But hold on, I mean, sorry, Tovarich. If I'm going into the conference chamber to have big hugs with Russian bears, I'd rather not leave my 6 guns at the door if it's all the same with you.
Dear old Patrick. Likes to sound like a bit of a buccaneer now and then, but he's right behind Henry Collingridge all the way, and that's exactly what he'll tell you so himself if you ask him.
Roger, have you got a moment? I'm so sorry I won't have crowd you for too long. Over here.
Glad to be rescued. Like being in a loose moor with a French pack, so it was. Oh, don't get me wrong, Francis. Loving every minute of it, the old cotton thrust.
What's your impression? How's it coming across?
Well, you can see for yourself. Looks lovely on the telly, but the lobby press aren't buying it. They saw Patrick Woolton having a go this afternoon. Leadership crisis is the story they want.
Well, we can only do our best with the material they give us. Your assistant's doing sterling work over there.
Ah, that girl is like gold, Francis.
I'm sure. She's your mistress as well, I take it. Is that a privilege exclusive to yourself?
What?
I said, do you enjoy her body on an exclusive basis, or is she available to others as well?
Now, hold on, Francis. I don't think that's really the kind of...
Don't be coy with me. You know I could have you in the gutter any time I like. Answer my question.
Well, you know, me and Penny, we go back a long way. Some ways we're more like brother and sister. We allow each other a little time off now and then for good behavior, if you follow me. Now listen, Francis, it's not simple. She's not a... You can't just... I'm sure she'd be very flattered to think... If you could, like, ask her really nicely, I'm sure you'd give it a chance.
Did you really think I wanted her?
Oops. Sorry, my mistake.
Didn't you lend her to Patrick Woolton a little while ago?
That was research. He wanted a bright girl for a bit of research in a hurry.
Bright girls for research. Where would the house be without them? I think he may want to borrow her again. More urgent research needs. Would she be available, do you think?
It's not impossible. I'll broach it gently. Leave it to me, Francis.
And I have another little task for you. Just a small delivery job. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Come on, Sleeping Beauty. Bloody hell, Roger, what do you want? To drown in your eyes and hide in your arms, darling.
I've only just set eyes on the bloody thing because Pennington here has only now worked up the courage to show me. It's very bad, Francis.
The poll was taken before the conference, Prime Minister. I'm sure you'll turn it round before the week's over. We've seen it all before, after all.
Yes, you're a good fellow, Francis, but 30%, it's a hell of a lead to pull back. Right. Speak to you soon.
Of course. Do you know, Elizabeth, I believe our leader is starting to worry.
There's a major story breaking, and I think Greville would want to know about it now.
All right. Who's dead?
Henry Collingridge. Well, not literally. Grev, I've got hold of the secret poll. You know, the Tories own one. It's sensational. They're 30% behind, and Collingridge is about as popular as Captain Hook.
And who decided to make you a present of this secret Tory poll?
I don't know. It was left outside my door. All right, I know it sounds weird, but it's the genuine article, I'm convinced.
You've been set up, you silly cow. Now, don't let me hear any more about this unless you have absolute stand-up-in-court proof it's kosher. And don't you ever get me out of bed again unless it's adultery in the royal family with photographs.
Pig. Right. KJS. Kevin Spence, Central Office Research.
Well, lovely. Nothing to beat it, eh?
I wish you really meant that.
I do, truly. A lovely girl.
No, Rog. Don't come up. Oh, Rog.
Got a little surprise.
What? What are you up to? Oh, Roger. You're not taking cocaine at 8 in the morning at the Conservative Party conference.
Don't you think I have fantastic style?
I think you're balmy.
Nonsense. This is brilliant stuff. Know where I got it? Grosvenor Square. This stuff is usually only available to the CIA. Yum, yum.
What are you trying to do? Kill yourself or what?
Rubbish, not a bit of it. It's just been a bit of a tense week, that's all. I could kick this stuff any time I like. I tell you what, get this week over. We'll go to a health farm for 10 days. No drugs. No drink. And shag ourselves silly. How about that, eh?
That would be lovely. If only you really meant it.
I do. You'll see. Listen, a pen.
Now what?
It's a bit delicate, this. Remember when you had that bit of a thing with Pat Boulton?
I'd hardly forget that, would I? What a character.
You liked him, though, didn't you?
What a maniac. Yeah, he was all right, Pat. Really good fun.
Yeah, well, it seems he's still carrying a bit of a torch for you.
Torch? Is that what he calls it now?
He was wondering if you might have dinner with him. He's a bit shy about asking himself.
Shy? Him? He once put his hand in my knickers when we sat at a table in Langan's.
Yeah, well, I said I'd pass it on.
Pimping now, is it? Jesus Christ, Roger! Don't you care about me at all? Don't you care what I do?
Ah, Pen. Pen, of course I do. I didn't think you'd be upset. I thought you liked him.
That's not the point. The point is I went with him before because I wanted to, not because you'd promised someone a favor.
Ah, listen, Pen, it's not like that at all. I wish I didn't have to ask you. I wish I could be everything to you, but I can't. You know, I'd never ask you to do a thing like this unless my arse was on the line. And it is. It truly is. I don't know what I'm going to do, and that's the truth. You do believe me, don't you?
Yes, I do believe you. It's that stuff, isn't it?
Partly. I mean, it's not as though you hate the man, Penn. You liked him. And you know, if it was me, I'd do anything in the world for you. Don't you? I love you, Penn, you know that.
Will you just shut up, Rog?
Why? What's the matter? I'm sorry. What have I said?
Kevin Spence?
Oh. Oh.
Never mind. Here, have mine. I hate this stuff. Matty's story in the Chronicle.
Yes,
It's all right. You don't have to pretend you recognize my name.
Well, I do, actually.
Well, good. I just wanted to check a couple of facts with you.
Are you sure you want me? I'm in research, not the press office.
I did say facts, Kevin.
Yes. Oh.
Is this a genuine report from your department? Not a fake?
Where did you get this?
KJS, that's you, isn't it?
Look, please, I can't possibly discuss this. If someone knew I'd leaked those figures, even confirmed they were genuine, please don't drag me into this.
I promise you I won't. It's all right, Kevin. I don't give away my sources. It is a genuine report, isn't it? What's the circulation? Very limited, I take it.
Just cabinet ministers and 5 senior people at Smith Square. The deputy chairman and 4 senior directors. Please don't ask me anything else.
No, I won't. You've been very helpful. Stay in touch.
I'd rather not.
Francis.
Patrick, good of you to spare the time.
Bloody hell, when the chief whip says he wants an urgent word in private, you make time. Ever since you phoned, I've been wondering what I've done wrong. But you know, I can't think of anything. Bloody depressing, that, looked at one way. Still, I suppose it's better than finding your picture in the news of the world, eh?
I need to take your mind, Patrick, and this is going to have to be one of those meetings that never took place.
All right. If this is what I think it is, it's come sooner than I thought.
We're in trouble, Patrick. And there's a view around that this is not a passing phase. This view says that the problem is the Prime Minister. His unpopularity is dragging the party down, and he refuses to see the danger. He's insisted on holding the Dorset by-election and conference week, and it looks as if this is a bad miscalculation. You understand, this is not necessarily my personal view. It's the view I've been asked to put to you.
Who by, Francis?
1 or 2 senior colleagues.
Just 1 or 2?
3, in absolute confidence. 3 very senior colleagues.
All right. Go on.
Do you think Henry still has what it takes to be Prime Minister? And if he were persuaded to retire, would you be interested in taking his place?
Bloody hell, Francis, you don't mess about, do you?
I think you know I prefer plain speaking and plain dealing, Patrick, as you do.
All right, let's analyze the situation. First of all, have we really got a problem? Yes, the polls are bloody terrifying. You're quite right to take soundings. Second, do we have to do something about it, or will it just go away? That is, can we ride out this bad patch and then swing the country round? Well, that's very much up to the Prime Minister. My view is he does not have what it takes, and the voters don't think he has. In my view, if he leads us into another general election, we'll get stuffed.
Between you and me, that's probably the majority view on the backbenches.
But if we get rid of him as early as this, we'll look like a bunch of colonels in a banana republic. I don't want to go down in history as the Idi Amin of Pulteney File.
Well, yes, quite. But you are still interested in the leadership.
In absolute confidence. Of course I bloody am. I stood against Henry when Margaret left. And I still think I was the best candidate. And if I stood again, I'd be looking for your support, Francis. But it's too early. Oh, we need a few months to get the public used to the idea of a change of leadership. Move too soon and we'll look like assassins. Leave it too late and the whole party will be in pieces. I'll say one thing, Francis. I'm damn glad it's you that's handling this. There's not many men I'd trust with a job like this.
Thank you. Patrick, I appreciate that. I appreciate your frankness as well. I'll continue to take soundings and keep you fully informed.
Good on you, Francis. As long as we keep that slimy little sod Samuels out at all events.
Well, yes, quite. Absolutely. Good talking to you, Patrick. You won't miss the party later.
Wild horses, Francis. Wild horses. I don't suppose you've got any wild women.
You'd be surprised. The man's a lout, of course. A lout, a lecher, an anti-Semite, a racist, and a bully. He is, however, more intelligent than he seems, and he is, we mustn't forget, Her Majesty's Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs. We mustn't make the mistake of underestimating Patrick Woolton.
Do call my secretary any time if you want to follow any of this up.
Thank you, I will. Well, bye for now, then.
Miss Storin, Mattie.
Oh, hello.
You've been neglecting me.
You mean I haven't been pestering you?
I feel slighted. Was Michael Samuels illuminating?
Oddly enough, not nearly as illuminating as you.
I'm astounded to hear it.
No, I don't think you are. So, how are things going? Are we having a good conference?
Apart from your neglect of me, very good indeed.
That's not my information. My information is you're in deep trouble.
Really?
Not you personally, of course.
That's a relief.
I was wondering if you and I could have a chat.
Where are you, Mattie?
I've been getting the impression that this whole conference is in code. That it's all about something else entirely. I don't feel as if I've had a real conversation with a real person since I've been here.
And you think I'll decode the conference for you? Rather a tall order, Mattie.
I'd settle for just a chat. At least you're a real person. You are a real person, aren't you?
Oh, yes. I'm a real person.
So?
I'd like very much to spend some time with you, Mattie, as I think you know. But this evening, unfortunately, I'm otherwise engaged. I'm having a little drinks thing. Some of my guests are rather shy of journalists. They don't like people to see what they're like when they're relaxing.
Really? And who would that be?
Mattie, you can't expect me to tell you that.
Well, who's coming then? Tell me just one guest.
Your proprietor, for one, Mattie.
Benjamin Landless. Is he in Brighton?
Oh, we get all the riffraff here. You'd be surprised.
Mattie Storin. Telephone call from Mattie Storin.
Don't you think you'd better get that?
Oh, right. Well, see you later in the week, perhaps.
I hope so, Mattie.
Hello, Mattie Storin here. John, I'm sorry, it's a bit of a scrum here. You got the story all right?
Yes, we got him.
And is that a brilliant story or what?
Yes, it's a brilliant story.
And?
And we're not running it.
What? Let me speak to Preston.
He's in a meeting, Mattie. He knows all about it. He won't run the story because he still thinks you've been set up.
I've checked that survey. It's genuine.
Can he speak to your souls? Can I speak to your souls?
Don't be stupid, John. Of course you can't. Let me speak to Preston.
He's in a meeting, Mattie. And look, it wouldn't do any good. We've backed the government all the way, and we have to stick with them now. It's not just you that's being left on.
Greville's been fixed, hasn't He's there with you, isn't he? Ask him who got at him. Ask him who doctored him. It was Benjamin Landless, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Hold on a moment, Mattie. I have a call on the other line.
Hold on for what? There's nothing to talk about, is there? Oh, God, that's all I need.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Please allow me to... perhaps not only going to make it worse. Lord. In trouble again.
It's all right. Most of it missed.
Are you sure? It was only vodka. Very pure. My mother-in-law cleaned silver with vodka, you know. May I, buy you a drink, Miss...
Mattie Storin. No, let my editor buy you one, Mr. Collingridge. 2 large vodkas and tonics, please. Ice and lemon.
You know who I am, then? Amazing. Amazing.
I am a journalist, Mr. Collingridge.
Oh, call me Charlie. Everyone else does.
So, what are you doing in this den of thieves?
Oh, not all thieves. Still a few good blokes about.
Like your brother.
Exactly. Salt of the earth.
That's nice. I'd heard he rather sort of disowned you.
No, he lets people think that. Best brother in the world, Hal. Looks after me, you know what I mean? Likes to do good by stealth. Enough said. End of story. Cheers. Very good health.
Cheers.
Lord, you are a pretty girl. Oh, no offense. I've got a daughter your age, you know. Lovely girl. Lovely face. Never see her. Own fault. Water under the thingy. Do miss her, though.
No, absolutely not. Get the hell out of here. Did I make myself clear?
Lord, I can't stand that man.
Don't come back till tomorrow morning. Large whiskey. And be quick about it, my friend. I gotta go to this goddamn champagne reception. I need something to line my gut with. Charlie, how are you?
Evening, Ben.
Yeah, one for him, too, I suppose. And you, young lady? What are you staring at? Is my zipper undone or what? Am I supposed to know you or something?
No, we haven't met, but I am one of your employees, Mr. Landless.
I might have guessed. Half the hacks in Brighton are getting wrecked at my expense tonight.
And as a matter of fact, you've just been influential in getting one of my stories spiked.
Is that so? What was it? That one about Nick Jemana Willy Warmer for Christmas? Is that it?
No, it was that one about the Tories going 30 points behind.
Ah. You're, Minnie, what's her name?
Mattie Storin.
Yes. Damn good story. Wrong damn paper. What do you think we are, the New Statesman? Cheers. Ah, thanks, young man. Keep the change, have one yourself.
It's chaps like that drive chaps to drink. Could you cope with another little one, my dear?
Yes. Why not?
Evening, my dear. Jolly good do.
Well, thank you.
Not here yet.
No, I looked the bugger straight between the eyes. I said, any more of that, my boy, and you're for Northern Ireland.
Dare say that called his bluff.
Wasn't seen on his feet again till 1987.
He's not here yet.
I know why Peter Mackenzie stays so slim. His wife's the genius for the wok.
Is that so?
I used to think the wok solved everything, but now I know otherwise. My dear, you really must allow me to give you my recipe for brill. Brill is a fish. Yes, I did. Mr. O'Neill, and how are you?
Never better, Mrs. Urquhart.
Good.
We've put the boys down for Wellington. Should be all right. What do you think?
I don't know. Bit dear, isn't it? Is it worth it? Miss Guy. Elizabeth Urquhart.
Really? You wrote the PM speeches?
If they chucked me out, it'd be like a lobotomy for Hal. That's entirely confidential, you understand. Excuse me. Hay fever.
Ben! Good to see you.
Never mind that. What the hell are you boys playing at? No, I don't want any of these stupid little things. Go away. Listen, I put the whole damn chain of papers behind you a lot, and you still managed to cock it up.
Ben, we can't talk here. Walls have ears and all that.
Oh, to hell with that. I didn't come 200 miles for canapes. Where's the bathroom?
Oh, it's over there. Ben.
Great, let's go.
Excuse me.
I've seen that latest poll of yours. Girl of mine got hold of it.
It's just a poll, Ben.
Bullshit, my friend. It's disastrous. But don't worry. I told Greville Preston to pull it.
Ah, thank you, Ben.
It'll leak, of course, but not till after the Dorset by-election.
The Prime Minister will be very grateful.
That limp dick. Where does it leave me? I want to buy Transglobal newspapers. I want to buy 2 ITV regions. Under Maggie, I knew the score. Everyone facing the same way. Everyone defending freedom's frontiers. Everything was up for grabs. No lame ducks and no sore losers, right? Now, my lawyers are talking monopolies and mergers commission. And this government won't back me up after all I've done for them because they haven't got the guts. Hell, Francis. What sort of country is it when a man can't spend his money how he likes?
Very true, and very well put, if I may say so, Ben.
Screw well put. What are we gonna do about it?
Dump Collingridge.
Holy shit! You really mean that, don't you?
This crisis of confidence isn't about policy, it's about leadership. I'm very fond of Henry Collingridge, and I respect him in many ways. But this country needs a strong, right-wing leader with the courage to defend freedom.
And increase it.
Exactly. That's the way the whole of Europe's going. This used to be a country fit for heroes, Ben. Explorers, soldiers, merchant adventurers. We want a leader who's prepared to let his dogs off the leash.
Give us a little room to run, huh?
Quite. We want a leader who's prepared to put himself about a bit. Give him some stick.
I like the things you say, Francis. So, who did you have in mind?
Patrick Woolton will give us what we want, I think.
You don't want it for yourself?
What, me? Oh, no. I'm just the chief whip, Ben. I just keep the troops in order.
Chief whips haven't made it to the top before.
Well, if it ever did come to that, I'd make sure they didn't tie you up in red tape, Ben.
No, you would, Francis. No, you would. Okay, so let's do it to Collingridge. Run that poll story for a start, huh? I've got work to do. First edition closes in 40 minutes. Better make a phone call. Nice party, Francis.
Oh, that's enough about me. How about you? Would you be into quickies at all, Amanda?
Would I be into what?
So, the party's over. It's a quiet night. Our fortunes prosper well. The Foreign Secretary finds succor from the harsh affairs of state in the soft fragrance of a daughter of the game. One for the archives, if he did but know it. And all the while, landless his armies are laboring for me through the darkness towards dawn. Telling the story, a leader out of touch, a man of straw, clutching at straws, his future closing in front of him like a fist. Who would be a leader in this wicked world?
Sorry about this, Prime Minister. We thought you'd better see it as soon as possible.
Oh, Graham, not at breakfast, surely. Hal was up till 4 working on his speech.
So were we, Mrs. Collingridge. I'm awfully sorry, but it is very serious if you read the paragraph I've marked, Prime Minister. It's not just a leak. It's a personal attack. A leading minister commented our basically excellent position is being undermined by the leader's lack of appeal. Another senior party figure suggested that Henry Collingridge would shortly be invited to stand down for the good of the party.
Who's doing this?
Who is it? Are they trying to destroy us all? I want to know who this is, Graham. I have to know.
Shall I give Lord Billsborough a call, sir?
Yes. No. No, not Billsborough. Get Francis Urquhart over. Have him in my suite in half an hour.
Yes, Prime Minister. In view of this report, and bearing in mind the Dorset by-election today, I expect you'll want to adjust your speech to conference this afternoon?
No.
Prime Minister, I really feel we should take
It was a good speech at 4 o'clock this morning, and it's still a good speech.
Urquhart.
Pat here. Pat Walton.
Patrick, what can I do for you?
You left your case behind when you came to see me yesterday and took one of mine. At least I hope you did. Could you check?
Hold on, Patrick. My dear chap, I'm frightfully sorry. You're quite right. Shall I bring it round?
No, I'm on my way. 2 minutes.
Bye.
John, what the hell's it all about? First you pull my story, then you print it without my name on it and a Let's Get Collingridge slant. What's going on?
If I tell you what I know, do you promise not to bite my head off?
All right. I'm sorry about last night, but I was just so bloody angry. I know it's not your fault. Come on, what happened?
Well, I don't know exactly. Old Greb was on the phone for about half an hour. Then he came out very pleased with himself. High drama. Kill the front page. Greb says he's been checking out your story with some of his contacts, and it stands up after all.
So who wrote it?
He did.
Ben Landless was here last night. Urquhart had a party. Landless was a guest.
Who else was there?
All the big boys. Wilton, Samuels, Billsborough.
So it's true.
It's really happening, John. They're getting ready to junk Collingridge.
So stupid of me, Patrick.
No harm done. Good party, Francis.
Ah, glad you enjoyed it. Seen the papers this morning?
Yes, bad business.
Bad for some, not so bad for others. Keep in touch, Patrick.
Right.
Yes, of course. Francis, the Prime Minister would like to see you.
Prime Minister.
Who is it, Francis? Who's betraying me?
Who? It's Teddy Billsborough.
You sure?
No one else it could be. I'm terribly sorry.
Thank you, Francis. You're a good man.
If the 80s had to be the decade of confrontation, the 90s will be seen, I think, as the decade of conciliation, the decade of cooperation, the decade of maturity. Stifling dissent is not going to help us find the right way. Surely events in Eastern Europe have told us that much at least. The British open democratic process has been an inspiration to seekers after freedom in Poland and in Russia and in Hungary and in Czechoslovakia. And I, for one, am proud of that. It is only through frank and open exchange of views that good government is possible. Frank and open exchange of views in an atmosphere of trust.
Pale-faced and clearly agitated, in his keynote address to conference this afternoon, the Prime Minister gave what most observers agree was a lackluster performance.
Good morning to you, Miss Storin.
And to you. Is it a good morning?
Yes, naturally, the result is a little disappointing. But it's hardly cheering news for Labour either, is it? By-elections are a chance for folk to let off steam a bit. And a lot of funny things happen in Dorset.
You're not worried, then?
Oh, we should be taking it very seriously. It may be we're not getting our message across in the right way.
Can I quote you on that?
Yes, I think you may, Miss Storin. I'm very glad I bumped into you, Mattie, because there's another piece of news that's going to break, and I know you'll handle it responsibly.
No comment.
In what was described by a senior government spokesman as a fit of pique and a fit of panic, the Prime Minister this afternoon sacked his party chairman, Lord Bilsborough, the greatly loved and longest-serving member of his government.
Pique and panic. Oh, yes, I'm sure it was. But I thought that girl of yours was supposed to be handling things with responsibility.
I'm sure she did, Elizabeth. I'm sure she did. I'm very much afraid someone must have been getting at her editor.
She's proving to be rather a treasure, isn't she?
You could say that.
And you trust her?
Yes. Up to a point.
If you wanted to be quite certain of her loyalty, perhaps one night when you're in town and I'm here in the country, well, I should quite understand, Francis. I leave that up to you entirely.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Urquhart. Yes, of course, Prime Minister. Yes, yes, of course, at once. Well, well, well.
I hope he isn't going to sack you, Francis.
He'd better not bloody well try.
The Observer rang Pennington in the press office today about a story they say they're going to run tomorrow.
What story?
I still can't believe it. They say my brother Charlie has been buying shares in companies just before they benefit from government decisions and making a killing on them. I mean, you know Charlie, Francis. He has no wit to do a thing like that.
Charlie? Of course he hasn't. And, well, he has his weaknesses, Hal. I know you won't mind my saying that, but he'd never do anything criminal.
Thank you, Francis. God, it's such a relief to talk to someone with a bit of... Francis, you do believe that I know nothing whatever about this?
Absolutely, Hal. Without the slightest reservation.
You're a good man. Well, they say they've got documentary evidence. Bank statements, brokers' receipts.
But nothing that connects it directly with you.
Not as far as I know. But what else would they assume? If he's been getting inside information, who else would give it to him? God, Francis, what am I going to do?
You know you're innocent. Go on the offensive. Tell them you'll sue, and go ahead and do it if they print. Set your solicitor onto it today. Where's your brother now?
In his flat, as far as I know. Tell him to take the phone off the hook and not answer the door.
We'll have to do better than that. When the Observer hits the streets, he'll be under siege. Listen, There's a place we use in Kent for the dipsos and druggies on the back benches, sort of safe house, come clinic, come asylum. I'm sorry, but...
I know.
I'll get Tim Stamper to fix it. Can someone who knows him be there too? Not you, of course.
Anne'll go. He's fond of her.
I'd rather it wasn't her.
Francis, we're all he has now.
Right. She'd better get going straight away. Don't worry about this place, Hal. They're very kind, absolutely discreet. Dr. Christian's a very sound man. It may be a blessing in disguise for Charlie.
Francis, you're a tower of strength. I don't know how to thank you.
Don't embarrass me, Hal. I'm just doing my job.
I don't know what's happening. Don't get away, people. Get out, get out. Come and get out. Get out, get out. When I take you, Charlie.
How bad is it, Francis?
I've seen worse.
Oh, come on. No one's ever been this low in the polls and come back to win an election.
Be the first. Give them something to cry about.
Oh, Francis. However this comes out, I'll make sure the world knows what a hell of a man you are to have in your corner. Right, what are we up against?
The Observer's pretty bad, but they've stopped short of implicating you. Very sensible of them. It'll blow over, Hal. These things always do. What else? There's a run on the pound. Doesn't mean a thing. It may bother the teenagers in the city with the Porsches and the Filofaxes, but the average voter couldn't care less. Leadership crisis. That cretinous dwarf Bearstead says he's going to force a leadership contest. Do you want me to lean on him and frighten the wits out of the little sod with the greatest pleasure, if you like?
Well, he's publicly declared now.
Get him to publicly retract. Humiliate the little bastard. But no. I think you're right, Prime Minister. Let him come on to the punch. Knock him down and trample him.
And do the television interview on Wednesday?
I'd say so, yes. Insist they leave this Mendoc shares nonsense to the last 5 minutes. By then, everyone will be rooting for you. It'll seem like a tasteless bit of irrelevance, which is what it is.
Yes, damn it. Thank you, Francis. We're not finished yet.
Right, stand by, studio, please. Counting from VT in 10 seconds. Very quiet, please, now. 5, 4,
All right.
3.
Prime Minister, for the last few minutes of this interview, could we turn to the allegations printed in this week's Observer about possible improper share dealing by your brother, Mr. Charles Collingridge?
With pleasure.
Earlier this week, you issued a statement denying any connection of your family with the matter and suggesting that there might have been a case of mistaken identity.
That's correct. Quite obviously, it's not for me to explain the Observer's extraordinary mistake. All I can tell you is that none of my family has anything to do with the matter. You have my word of honor on that. I might also add that the family solicitors have initiated proceedings against the Observer and will do so against anyone who repeats these false and malicious statements.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll certainly bear that in mind.
Well, I think that would be very wise of you.
Now, you and your brother deny that either of you opened an accommodation address at a Paddington newsagent's.
That's correct.
But on Monday of this week, Jane Hartston of our staff visited the address and was able to photograph a number of envelopes addressed to your brother.
Now, look here.
The first one is clearly marked the Ottoman Union Bank, the bank that bought and sold the Mendoc shares. The second is addressed to your brother from the Conservative Party Sales and Literature Office in Smith Square.
Well, I really cannot see any relevance in this at all. Quite clearly, it is a case of mistaken identity. And I do have to warn you...
Prime Minister, like you, we thought that Charles Collingridge might well be a common name. That there might be some other Charles Collingridge who was able to take improper advantage of secret government decisions. But oddly enough, there is only one Charles Collingridge listed in the London telephone directory. Your brother. Prime Minister, we've almost come to the end of the program. Is there anything else that you would like to say? Well, with the Prime Minister declining to comment any further on his alleged involvement in the Mendoc share scandal, that's all from us at World Watch tonight. Good night.
Burkett. I had a feeling it might be you.
I'm sorry to disturb you at home, but I'd be very grateful if you give me a few minutes before we go to press.
Not on the telephone. You can come here if you like. I'd prefer it if you didn't tell your colleagues where you're going.
I'll see you in 10 minutes.
He can't survive this, can he?
I shall be spending the next few days rallying all the support for the Prime Minister that I can get. Off the record, Mattie, it's not going to be easy.
Do you think he tipped his brother off about those shares?
I find it impossible to believe that Henry Collingridge could do a thing like that. I've always considered him a totally honourable man.
But?
But, Mattie?
Not quite up to his job.
Mattie, you might very well think that. You know I couldn't possibly comment.
I really like talking to you.
Of course you do. You love trying to tempt me into indiscretion.
I know, but it's more than that. With Samuels on Earl, I get the party line. You talk to me like another intelligent human being.
I like talking to you. I'm interested in you. You find that strange?
I find it very flattering. Because I happen to think you're by far the ablest man in this government.
Oh, no, no, no. You're too kind, Mattie.
I think you underestimate yourself, and that's a shame.
Underestimate myself? In what way?
You underestimate your ability and your capacity for power, I think. And I think you underestimate your personal attractiveness.
Now, that is absurd, Mattie. You can't expect me to fall for that. I'm old enough to be your father.
Perhaps that's something to do with it.
Oddly enough, I always wanted a daughter. My wife and I have no children. What a very unusual interview this has turned out to be.
Perhaps we should... No, I must just say this. You mustn't underestimate your abilities. Really. You know you could go much further than you have done, don't you?
You think so?
If you put your mind to it, I think you could achieve anything you wanted.
You might think that, Mattie. I'm afraid I couldn't possibly comment.